now. Now has it started recording? Sweet.
Awesome. Apparently I'm in the power chair, so that's all very exciting. Well, thanks everyone for coming along this evening and also for attending online. So I'll try and look at all of you. I just also wanted to let the people who are playing at home know that there is a little show bag here, and I've left some with Debbie at the CQU careers office on campus in Rockhampton today after the careers fair. So if anyone would like one of those sent to them, please contact Debbie, and you can email her at careers@cqu.edu.au. And I'll show, who wants to show everyone at home what's in the show bag?
I'll do it.
We'll get Justin to show you all. We've got a practical legal training handbook that's actually available online at our website. So if you go to our website, which is collaw.edu.au/PLT, I believe, that handbook is available to be downloaded. We've also got a lovely little new brochure about finding work experience. We've also got this awesome new brochure that I just saw today for the first time, and it's called How to Become a Lawyer. So that's a handy little, it's not very big for some reason, but anyway. And then we all love a Post-it note, and we all love a pen, and we all love a highlighter, especially when you flip it like this and a Post-it note comes out of it. Get out of town. That's amazing. So please contact Debbie in at Careers if you would like one of those. Now, Justin, do we have to do anything with the slides? Or
yes. Here, I'll
we'll get Justin to drive the slides. So what we're here to talk about tonight is practical legal training, or PLT, which is your admission to practice. So if you can see our lovely logo up there in the top, that is actually representative of university and the profession. And then the little bridge across the top is your PLT, which is your link between being a university student, being a law graduate, and being a practicing solicitor. So you can't actually call yourself a lawyer with just a law degree. You have to be admitted to the Supreme Court of Queensland. So we'll go through all of that in due course. Okay, so to practice as a lawyer, you need the following things. So you need a law degree. So well done. You're nearly through the first requirement. You also need your graduate diploma of legal practice, which is what you get once you've completed your PLT. Then you will take that and you will apply for admission to the Supreme Court of Queensland. And then once you're admitted to the court, you can apply for a practicing certificate from the Queensland Law Society. And once you've got that in your hot little hand, that's when you can actually call yourself a lawyer. And to maintain that practicing certificate, you do need to renew that on an annual basis, and you need to complete 10 points of CPD or continuing professional development every year. And that's pretty easy, actually. That'll be courses that your employer will send you on. We run events all the time at college. Queensland Law Society will run a lot regionally as well. For example, they also have big conferences like the Queensland Symposium last weekend. You get points for all sorts of that, all sorts of things like that. We were just talking before, the professions being medicine, law, and say accounting. You don't want to see an accountant that hasn't learned anything new in the last 10 years. You also don't want to see a doctor that that got their medical degree 10, 20, 30 years ago. And the law is the same. It's changing all the time, so we need to keep current. And 10 points a year is quite minimal. The accountants actually have to do 120 points every 3 years with a minimum of 20 in each year. So we get off pretty lightly as lawyers, but it's really good to keep those skills sharp. So what is PLT, or what is practical legal training? So it is that link between being a law student where you're learning the theory of law at university and learning all about the law, but we're building on that academic training, that legal, that theoretical base, although I know that you will do some practical stuff in your degree. But PLT is all about putting that into practice. So you actually will be writing documents and submitting documents to your lecturers, and doing very, very practical work in all of your assessment. It's a requirement for admission in all Australian states. So it's not just a Queensland thing. It's not just something that the College of Law says you have to do. It's actually a requirement throughout Australia, and graduates coming out of all universities do have to do it to practice in whatever state. And if you were thinking about moving interstate, you can do the Queensland PLT and then practice in another state, or you might decide to do PLT. Say you were going to move to Sydney or Melbourne, you can actually study with the College of Law in another state as well. It's very much preparing you for practice. So we want to give you the skills to hit the ground running, and it will be the start of your legal career, and you have to focus on it and give it the attention and the importance that you have done your law degree. And we were just having a conversation about how some people do they get busy being a lawyer, and we're all busy, and we're all busy law students, and you'll be even busier. You probably don't know the meaning of busy quite yet. When you get into legal land, you'll really know the meaning of busy, but don't treat it as a tick box exercise. Really get in there, and it's like anything worth doing in life. What you get put into it is what you'll get out of it. So I really do encourage you all to consider it a significant step. So to obtain your completion certificate at the college, there's 3 parts of that you need to do. You'll do the coursework, and we'll go through some further details of that. You'll need to do the required work experience, and you can actually be starting to accrue that work experience now, which is super exciting. And there's also some CPD that you'll have to do as part of the course, and 1 and 3 are provided within the PLT program itself. So the coursework, when can I start? As soon as you've completed so you can be doing it in your last semester. So there'll be 11 subjects within your degree that are what we call the Priestley 11, and these are the subjects that law students do at every single university. Doesn't matter which, whether they go to CQU or any other university. You can only have 2 or less electives remaining, and you also have to get permission from the admissions board as well, which is part of QLS. So and all PLT providers are subject to this rule. So it's something that the admissions board has brought in across all PLT providers. So, coursework. Oh, we're just going to shrink you down for a little bit, and then we'll get you back. We miss you already. So, just so that you can see that full slide, there's 2 different modes. So, you can do the course full-time. That will take you 15 weeks, or you can do the course part-time, and that will take you 30 weeks. So whether you are doing the program full-time or part-time, you all start with 1 week full-time, and it's what we call our on-site. So it's a 5-day intensive, and we don't teach in Rocky, but I'll give you some further information about that at the end of the session. We do teach in Cairns, in Townsville, at the Sunshine Coast, at the Gold Coast, and in Toowoomba, as well as very regularly, about every 6 weeks, in Brisbane. The regional areas run twice a year, at end of June and end of November. So you'll do Monday to Friday as a full-time course, and then you'll branch off onto either remaining 14 weeks or remaining 29 weeks, and you'll do the rest of it online. So you can, as long as you've got an internet connection, you can do it wherever you are in Australia. The online part-time evening just means that you don't do that 1 week intensive. You do it across say 12 or 15 weeks, and they come in of a Tuesday and a Thursday night. That's only available on our campus, which is in Brisbane. So it'll be probably online full-time or online part-time that most of you will do. So the coursework, you will all complete those 5 subjects there. So I won't read them out because you can see them. So those are the ones on the left-hand side that you will all do as compulsory subjects. The elective subjects, you will choose 2. So it will very much depend on where you're working at the time or what is really ringing your bell as a lawyer. So if you really enjoyed a certain area of law, so you really love family law and you've done a bit of work experience and you really enjoy that subject at law, you're kind of leaning towards that area of practice, then you could perhaps choose the family law practice. So 2 out of those added to your 5 compulsory will be the course that you will do. Sometimes when you're working for an employer and they're paying for your PLT, they might decrease the list of the elective subjects. So say if you're working for one of the big corporates, they don't do criminal law and they don't do family law and they don't do wills and estates, they'll take those ones off the list. So it's very much dependent on where you're working and what you want to go with your law degree. So that's the coursework component. There's no group assessment. You'll probably be quite excited. Most people are quite excited about that when I tell them that. You will do, every subject will have tasks within the modules and a very sort of very laid out program of the order that you do it in. Once you have done all those tasks, you'll submit a short online sort of questionnaire. And that'll just tell us that you're ready to do your main assessment, and your main assessment will be an oral exam over the internet with one of your lecturers. So it's all, there's no written final exam as well, and that's pretty much the format for every subject. So the work experience, do we want to flick everyone back up?
Yes.
There we are. You're back. We missed you. So we've got 2 formats from work experience to choose from, and it very much depends on your own experience and, you know, whether you want to fast track or what your situation here. So I was just talking to Justin before we started, and he's been doing, he's done a lot of legal work already here at the Community Legal Centre and also in his job. So he would be choosing the standard work experience. If someone has done a few placements here and there, but perhaps isn't working full-time by the time they're doing their PLT, or working part-time, you might choose to do the short format. So the short format is 25 days of work experience, but you also, because it's shortened, you have to do a clinical experience module as well. So that is another subject. Think about it, that you will do at the end of the course, and there is an additional cost for that because it's another subject and it has a start date and an end date. The standard work experience will be 75 days of work experience. So, and there is a little bit of information about when you can do that, and I'll go through that shortly. What counts as work experience? If you've done some clerkships, if you're doing some paralegal work, volunteering, such as where we are now. So I really do encourage those of you who are in your final year or your penultimate year to do some volunteering, and I'm sure Justin can give you some further information about what happens here. You might have done some work with legal aid, doing in-house. So there's lots of different options. A lot of people do work as a judge's associate for that first year out of uni, and or work in a government department. So all those options will count towards your work experience.
Sorry, Jackie. Monique here. I'm in Toowoomba. How are you?
I'm very well. How's things in Toowoomba?
Yeah, great, thanks. Look, my PLT is not coming up until next year, but I'm quite interested in just a little bit of elaboration on the 75 days and 25 days options.
Yes.
Currently, I'm employed with the Fair Work Ombudsman, and I'm just interested to find out, if I was to do either option, how many days are counted prior to commencing your PLT?
I'm just checking. This is my new, oh, here we go. It's on the next slide. So,
oh, cool. Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. This is a new deck, and I just got it yesterday. So I was like, oh, it used to be coming up soon, but yes, it's excellent question, Monique. Excellent question. We will talk about that. And we'll go through it for both modes. Monique, it sounds like you'll probably do the standard format if you've been working full time. So, and also we teach a PLT in Toowoomba, so that's great news for you.
Cool.
So where to find, if you're not working, once you're a student with us, we've got a College of Law jobs notice board. So that's a virtual notice board. There's heaps of links on our website as well. So there's pro bono website and you know, obviously we're here at the Community Legal Centre, but there's other centres around if you're not in Rocky. So have a look on our website and click on the links. Okay, so great question from Monique. So thanks for asking that question. Okay, if you are going to do the standard work experience option, so that's the 75 days of work experience, you can actually accrue 60 out of those 75 days of work experience before you start PLT. So that means that you can, as long as that experience is in the 2 years before you start PLT. So Justin here, Monique's case as well, from the day you start PLT, you can look back 2 years into your work experience history, and you can potentially tick off 60 days if you've been doing work that is the provision of legal services. So I have had students say to me, oh, I work in reception at a law firm. It's in a law firm, but no, it's not actually providing legal work. So it has to be the provision of legal services. If you are doing the short format, so you're doing the 25 days, you can have already accrued 10. So if you're really, really not good at maths, I'll break it down for you. You've still got 15 days to go, no matter what. So we call that the minimum requirement. As a minimum, you will have 15 days to go. Some of you might have more than that in your 70 or your 25 days. We can pre-approve that work experience before you even get to college. So Monique, in your case, you might decide to chuck a form in straight away, or you know, a couple as you're putting your application in for college, and you put in one form to say, which is an application for approval form, and that's basically a form saying, hi College of Law, this is the work that I'm doing, and there's a little bit of information about when you started and how many hours you do and all that sort of stuff, and then they'll come back and approve that and say, yep, that counts as work experience. Then when you've got your 25 or 75 days done, you will do a declaration form, and the declaration form is the matching form, and you'll do a set for every employer. So if you, like Monique or Justin, have been working for the same employer, you'll probably just put in one set. If you've done 3 different placements, you'll have to put in, each employer will be a separate set, and that's a declaration form saying yes. And it's signed off by your supervisor, and they say, yes, this is the type of work that this person has been doing, and I, as an officer of court, do declare that it's all kosher. And then once that's signed off, you then scan it and send it back to the college, back down to our enrolments team, and then they will tick off your work experience. So say you have already done the 60 days, I recommend that as soon as you hit that 75 days, just get your form in. Get your form in, get that component ticked off, and then you won't be at a scramble at the end. We can certainly pre-approve anything before you even at college. So the CPE is the third component. This is actually provided to you within your student login at the College of Law. So there's something that we've got called a legal business series, which is really quite interesting and really unique. We're actually the only PLT provider that does something like this. So we work with most of the top firms. So out of the top 10 biggest law firms in Australia, we do the PLT training for 9 of them. Don't ask me what the 10th one is, I can never remember. But 9 of them actually have us go into the firm and we actually teach in their offices, and we are the trainer that comes in-house. So they tell us, and we're always talking to the HR people, you know, PLT skills are great, it really adds to their law degree, you know, they're all right on that side of things, but law, while it is a profession still, and it always will be, and fundamentally that's an important thing to understand, it's still a business. So you still have to have those business that business acumen as well. I've come from the accounting area, and and business students do this a lot better than law students, I must admit. So we need to catch up those skills. So the legal business series will talk to you about financial documents and understanding those, time and work management, leadership, and those really sorts of important things. There's a minimum that you have to do, but if you want to do all 10, and listen, you can knock them over in a weekend, you will actually get an extra certificate. So you get this certificate of legal business skills. It's an extra thing to put on your resume and talk about when you're in interviews. So I really do encourage you to do the whole thing. You've paid for it. Why don't you just get it? And then there's some free online seminars that we provide you links to that are really great. So all those, you'll have to do a certain number of those to tick off the CPE component. And as I said, you can pretty much knock that over in a couple of weekends. So tips for fast tracking. Should we rejoin? Where's the group? We'll just bring you back. Oh, they can see us. It's nice to see them. You're back. There you go. Oh, there's Nick. Hi, Nick. I can see Clarissa and Kylie B. She's incognito. Kylie B might be in the witness protection, maybe. So tips for fast tracking. Getting that work experience while you're at uni is really important. I really encourage you guys to all think about doing some volunteer working. You're giving back to your community, as well as learning all sorts of skills that we were talking about tonight, such as patience and empathy and communication. You really have to learn that by doing. All great stuff to put on your resume. Employers love it as well. If they see that you've been volunteering in a community centre, that will just, tick so many boxes for them. So I really do encourage you to do that. That counts towards your PLT, so that's awesome. And yeah, register that with as soon as you can. And if you want to do the short work experience option, which is 25 days plus the extra module. So if you are thinking about that one, full-time students have to do it at the end of their 15 weeks, and they have to have completed the 25 days before you can enroll in that module. Part-time students who are doing the 30-week option, you can start it in week 16. Also, that if you're doing the short format, and if you're moving into in-house counsel, I'd say that you'd be doing the standard format. But say if you wanted to do the short format, it's 25 days, but you have to have completed the 25 days before you can enroll in the extra module. And the reason for that is the module is reflecting on that work. So you can't.
The CPE.
Oh no, the short work experience format. So the 25 days and the extra subject rather than the 75 days.
Yep.
I'd say that you're probably you'll be right. You'll be in the standard one, but you have to finish the 25 days before you can enroll in this extra module, because the module is reflecting on that work. So if you haven't worked on it, you've got nothing to reflect on. Small problem there. So you'll do that as an additional subject. So you can do that to speed it up as well.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Sorry. The CEM, is that what you're talking about? The extra module? Oh.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. So the CEM, is that what you're talking about?
Yes. So clinical experience module. Yes.
Yeah. Does it have set start dates? Because just to give you an idea, what I'm looking at is doing the 10 days prior to starting full-time PLT.
Yes.
But because I can't actually do legal experience with my department unless I'm in a major city, I'm going to have to look at the short format.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of doing the full-time and then doing the remainder of the short format, which is the 15 days after the end of the full-time.
Yes.
Do I have to wait for CEM to start at some point, or can I just commence that?
No, there is set dates.
Okay.
Usually it is in a full-time mode. Usually it's the following Monday, but you don't have to do the one that follows your course. You can do it at any time. Also, a hot tip is you can actually do it in other states because it's all online, apart from 2 states. So say if I think it's definitely the Western Australia, and I want to say the New South Wales course, you have to do a 1-day on site. So you don't sign up for their courses, but the South Australia, Queensland, or the Victorian one, they're completely online. So it doesn't matter if you did the Victorian intake rather than the Queensland intake. So you can do that at any time, but it just has to be after you've completed the 25 days.
Thank you.
So
That's
if you
really helpful.
So if you wanted to move into it in week 16 after you're full time, you'd have to be doing your 15 days while you were doing PLT. But another thing I mentioned about your work experience, everyone, is if you are going to be studying with us part-time, doing the 30-week course, you can accrue work experience at 5 days per week. If you are doing the if you are doing the course with us full-time, you can only accrue 2 days a week. So that if you are trying to get that secondment, Monique, you'll have to, as a full-time student, it's only 2 days a week, so you probably would have to do it after PLT. And that is because as a full-time course load is, you know, that 30 to 40 hours a week, and also full-time work is 34 hours a week. So we do a lot of talk in our course about resilience. So we are not going to encourage anyone to overload themselves and burn out. So that's looking after you in terms of, you know, burnout and you know, looking after your lawyers have the highest rate of burnout and suicide than any profession, so we have to look after that.
Dentistry.
Except dentistry, apparently.
And also parking officers.
And parking officers. Okay, there you go.
Psychologists also.
But there are whole scholarships set up in the name of law students who have actually tragically taken their own lives. So we have to really look after you. So yeah, if you are with us full time, you can accrue 2 days a week. If you're with us part time, you can accrue 5 days a week. So something to take into consideration. Our student services team is available at any time, well, anytime during business hours, to have a chat to you if you do want to run things by them as well. Okay. Reasons to study with us is the College of Law. So the College of Law is the largest private provider of PLT in Australia. I think it's about 55% of all Australian law grads come through the College of Law. So, and you can study in whatever state. So if you are thinking about moving interstate, it's a very task-based, hand-baked. I got up very early today, everyone, very early. Hands-on learning, and so it makes you more practice ready. So it really is a very practical course. We are the only PLT provider that does that legal business skills series. You can also study how you want and when you want, so it's very flexible as well. Our lecturers are just lovely as well, so they're very understanding. You're not the first person who can't get an assessment in because they've had to go to court, and we're very used to that. So while it's not good to prolong it and push back your deadlines, that they are flexible in terms of giving you a few days here and there if needed. So apart from that first 5 days of face-to-face skills training, you'll do the remainder online. So as long as you've got an internet connection, you're good to go. And I think there's about 20 courses throughout Queensland, or it might even be more than that throughout the year. So there's lots of start dates for you to choose from. It's very attractive to employers. As I said, 9 out of the top 10 law firms have us come in-house. So it's very widely recognised, and we are the largest provider of PLT in the Australasia area. Our lecturers offer great one-on-one support. We have small class sizes. You'll be assigned a lecturer for each subject, and they'll sort of talk you through it. They give you really good feedback as well. It's a really cool system we have. You'll submit stuff online, and then they will leave you notes in the system. It's really cool. They can actually also leave you kind of voice messages on the system. So there might be a little flag that comes up on a document that you've submitted, and you click on it, and maybe it was too complicated, or they wanted to give you actual verbal feedback. You'll click on it and you'll get a little voice message from your lecturer. It's kind of cool. You get really comprehensive practice papers as well. We do have a very strong alumni networking within college as well. And also, we don't just do PLT, we do master's programs and also CPD as well. And if down the track in your career you're thinking, right, and this is often sort of 5 years out of uni, or 5 years post-admission, that you wanted to come back and do one of our master's programs. If you've done PLT with us, you actually get 2 of your electives credited. So you can do a master's in 6 subjects, which is super cool. So we like that. Course dates. So if you're wanting to come and visit us in not so sunny at the moment Bris Vegas, we've got start dates online, advertised all the way towards the end of the year. Those are our full-time and part-time start dates. So that's just for the 1 week. So the start date, say the 15th of October, guys, they will do their intensive from the 15th of October for a week, and then the rest is online. Regional, as I said, we it's going to take a little sip of water because I'm about to announce something exciting.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. At the moment, we teach the intensive week in Cairns, Townsville, the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast, and Toowoomba for our lovely friend Monique there. So yay you. Now, we don't currently teach in Rockhampton, but as I was saying to Justin before, if we have a group of 5 or 6 people who sign on the dotted line to say, yes, I'm definitely doing, I definitely want to do PLT here in Rocky with the college, we will set up a course here regionally, but we need 5 or 6 people in that group as a minimum. So I've left that with Justin and the team here, and you know, it's just a matter of you know, pulling together a group of you that all went to uni together and know each other, and then we would book a space maybe at CQU or somewhere where we could teach for the week, and that's your intensive done if you didn't want to do it interstate. And then it would be up to our student services when that would run, because it obviously would have to fit in with the rest of our courses that are already scheduled. So that is something that can happen. So we don't currently teach that week in Rocky, but it's not to say that it wouldn't happen in the future. So I've left that as a little challenge for Justin. Queensland Regional part-time are the same, you do the same intensive. Just a little bit of feedback from our grads, just saying how much they love college, and Bronwyn's here has already even come back to do a Master of Applied Law in Family Law, so that's excellent. As I go around the state and talk to our alumni, they do talk about how practical it is and how much the course really did set them up for practice. So that's me. I look a bit different because I've cut all my hair off, but I was a bit younger and cuter then. But that's my phone number, that's my email address, and I'm also on LinkedIn, so I really encourage you to link with me on LinkedIn. The College of Law also has a Facebook page you can follow, and LinkedIn as well. So, and then the 1300 number there is our student services. They're available from 8 till 5, I think it is, Sydney time. Just take into consideration daylight savings at the moment. And they're really, they're a really good team down there in terms of being able to answer questions, especially if you have specifics, questions about, you know, I've done this work and, you know, I'm thinking about doing short and thinking about doing long, and what course can I roll in, and how will it all work in terms of your work experience. Does anyone have any questions, either online or in the room?
Hi Jacqui, my name's Letitia. I was just wondering what courses start sort of in the November, December sort of area, if there are any in the Brisbane region?
There will be. They will be, I think, in our, hold on, I'll just flip to my trusty guide here. In the Brisbane area, we have, at the moment, we've got them advertised through to October, but there will be something in November as well, because November is actually in technically next year's one, but we had a course start on the 20th of November last year, for full-time and the 27th of November last year, it to be about that same time. The dates don't change too much from year to year.
Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure. And you can always jump on our website and keep an eye on as they're scheduled in, and you'll usually have like November will probably be going up quite soon.
So just to sort of.
Hi, it's Monica here.
Yes.
Just wondering, is the units graded, or are they just on like a pass-fail sort of?
They're graded, yeah, graded.
And the similar sort of way to the uni grades then, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so pass, credit, distinction, yes. And then you have to pass everything, all your work leading up to your final exam before you can sit the final exam. And we do resits. They'll usually be on if you miss your date, there's like catch up dates as well. They're quite flexible.
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
So doing the short course.
Yes.
The coursework, 25 days work experience.
Extra module.
The CME.
Yeah, it's clinical experience module.
CEM.
Yes.
And the CQU.
Yes. Yeah. So so just the question was the list of what you have to do if you're doing the short format. So short or long, everyone does the same 7 subjects. Everyone does the CPE, the continuing professional education. Everyone does that and that. The only difference is with work experience, you'll do 75 days and get signed off, or short is 75 days plus 1 extra subject. Now, if you do the long version, the 75 days, there is a journal that like a reflective piece that you have to do. It's called a work experience journal. That's really reflections, like you do at uni. You know how you do reflections in portfolios and that sort of stuff. You do some reflections on the 15 days. You don't have to reflect on the whole 75 days, but the 15 days minimum, yes.
Just a question. With most like graduate degrees, like obviously this is a graduate diploma,
Yes.
even though we call it PLT, it is
Yes.
a graduate diploma.
Absolutely, yes.
I know that I know from a friend's experience, my friend here, Sam, is currently doing postgraduate education, but that's like quite often like there's like a rigorous application process. Like, what are the eligibility criteria? Like, if you have like less than stellar marks in university, is there a possibility that you'll
No,
sit
we
there
just
and say,
if you've got a law degree, we'll take you. Yeah.
"Oh, thank Jesus."
Yeah. So if
Praise the Lord.
so if whatever university you attend has given you a law degree, because obviously to get the law degree you have to have passed all so many subjects, and within that law degree you have to have done obviously the priestly 11.
Yep.
But we don't go, oh no, that person only got 4s. We want to take that one with the 6. No, the practical legal training is about building on that law degree. So the criteria to get in is, and most, I would say that everyone listening or in this room is obviously a CQU student, and maybe probably. So obviously Australian degree, we know that degree. You just need to basically say, here's my money and here's my law degree.
Yeah. Or you don't need. I've already asked this question before, but I'm going to ask it again.
Oh.
Jacqui, do you need to put any money down straight away, or can you put it on a fee help loan?
Justin, that's a fabulous question. I'm really
Thank
glad you
you.
brought that up, because it wasn't on slide in the old deck, but it seems to have been gone in the new deck. I'll have to get them to put that one back in. You can put your PLT on fee help. Thank God for that. Absolutely. So you don't need to pay cash. You can pay cash. Yes.
And just fees, is it a one-off payment, or are you able to pay per subject as they roll along, or is it too condensed that you need to just pay up front?
Yeah, it's paid up front. It's
Okay.
even when the firms have 10 students and they're paying, we invoice them once.
Sure.
It's just too messy. Can I borrow that book again?
Do you get a list of subjects though? Like just say, will it be broken down that you're doing the 7 subjects and, oh yeah, sweet, thanks.
So what I might do is give Justin the link to this document that we're all looking at, which is the handbook. It's all available online. So
I don't know what we're looking for.
COLLAW, so COLLAW, collaw.edu.au/PLT is the website for PLT. On that page has a ridiculous amount of information. So there's a link for work experience, and you can then click on short format, long format. It'll then have links to the work experience diary, the clinical experience module, so you can sort of follow the path that you're interested in. And it will also have all the subjects and all the information that's in here. So yeah, the fees are listed out by subject, and then the total cost, I'm assuming that if you are an Australian citizen or an Australian permanent resident, if you are doing the standard work experience, so the 75 days, it's 9,260 at the moment. If you add in the short work experience with the clinical experience module, it's $10,660. And then it's a little bit more if you're an overseas or an international citizen. So standard is 13,370 for non-Australian citizens, and 14,770 for overseas and international students. And of course, international students are not eligible for fee help, but Australian citizens are eligible for fee help.
Ooh.
Woohoo!
I had a question.
Yes.
What would you, if a student came to you and said that they were due to do their PLTs in a few months and they had done a lot of work experience, however, it will just be outside of the 2-year gap, do you suggest you actually go to law firms and hand out, resumes to do PLTs? Is that how that works? Or
yeah, I would probably have a look at your local area and use whatever networking that you can within that local area. If it's going to be, if you've got a unique situation that you would like it considered, we actually have a work experience committee that meets every 2 weeks, and you can talk to our student services about how to submit something to them. They will consider things on a case-by-case basis. So if you fall just outside the normal parameters, consider having it looked at first. But I would ring that 1300 number and have a chat to student services first. And but other than that, if you're still searching, get on to our website. There's a bunch of different links. Go and have a look at what community legal centres are in your area. Do some networking. CQU probably has a career hub, jobs board as well. Go around and see local law firms as well, with a nice resume, and approach them about. Lots of law firms will actually do have programs that they run. There's one on the Gold Coast, for example, and they get so many students come to them. They have quite a structured program of how they run it. So definitely have a chat to those in your local area as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hi, Jacqui. My name's Lee. I came in late, so I apologise if you have addressed this. But with regard to enrolling,
yes,
is it possible to enrol with 2 electives to go in the degree? Is that right?
Yes, that is correct, Lee. You have to have completed your Priestley 11. You can have 2 electives, but no more than 2 electives left to go, and you have to have permission from the admissions board.
Okay, right. So when we say electives, are they actual electives or just non-Priestley 11 subjects?
Non-Priestley 11 subjects.
Perfect. Thank you.
And that information on the Queensland Law Society website is really hard to find. I have tried. I saw it. I've seen it before, but then I was actually trying to find it for a student the other day. They actually have a number that you can contact them on, or an email that you can contact them on. So I'm sure the Queensland Law Society have really great information packs that they can send you. So get on the phone to them, send them an email, and I'm sure they'll send you out some information. But yeah, as long as you have to have done all your PCL 11 as well. Just bear in mind, everyone, though, that you do have to do that intensive week. So if that falls at a critical time at uni, we need you for that intensive on-site week. So we need you full-time Monday to Friday. So you can't be running off to do lectures or exams in the middle of. So if you miss. So we have students that go, oh, I've got to do it, and I've got an exam reset. Can I go early on Wednesday, which is often lunchtime? No, you can come back and do it Wednesday another day. So what will happen is they have to do that Wednesday with another group. So they still have to tick off all days. You can't. It's not like uni where you can miss it and then listen to the lecture later. You have to be on site for the 4 or 5 days. So bear that in mind if you're thinking about doing it before you finish uni. Just a thought.
I can't remember constitutional was my last.
And I think with CQU, property law and land law together make up the pre-CQU 11.
Yeah.
Subject.
It does depend on your course structure and where they fall and how you've.
Yeah, because I think I've seen QUT set up and their property and land subject are just property law.
Yeah. So with CQU, it's 2 different subjects, but those subjects combined meet the pre-CQU 11 requirements.
Oh, okay. They're towards the end. They're at the end, are they? So you can't. Okay.
Whereas something like jurisprudence would have counted as an elective, even though it wasn't elective. We have to do jurisprudence.
Land law's my last subject.
Me too.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us online and in person. It's been really great. I'm also, I was talking to Justin about doing some regular PLT online ones, not necessarily from Rockhampton, but I'll dial in from Brisbane and everyone else can dial in from wherever you happen to be in this vast land of ours, and doing this a bit more regularly. I will encourage you to link with me on LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn, get yourself one. Keep in touch with us. Student services are happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to answer any questions. If they get too hard, I'll refer you to student services, but we're happy to provide whatever information that you want. And if you are thinking, if you're in Brisbane and you want to come in and see college, we've just had a refurb at the end of last year and it's a bit fancy pants now. Lovely view of King George Square. You're welcome to get in touch and I can give you the grand tour, which will take 4.5 minutes. You're welcome to visit any time as well. So just get in touch. Oh, what's happening in the chat?
Oh, there's no questions.
No questions. I'm sitting in a car park using my phone, no video. Oh, Kylie B. So Kylie B, everyone is not in the witness protection scheme. Okay, thanks for the update, Kylie.
We're just reading through all the chat messages.
Just making sure we haven't missed anything. So yeah, isn't it great? I love Zoom. I love that we can be all over the country and come together as a group and share information. So I'm certainly looking at doing these a lot more regularly, and even having a session where we've got university students from all over Australia. So all the CQUs and the JCUs and the USQs, everyone that's outside of the little dot on the map that we call Bris Vegas, come together as a group and share further information. So also looking at working out how we can put some of our sort of alumni events and CPD events online as well. So once that you're with us and you have to do some of that, we're trying to put a whole lot more on that online space as well. There's actually a big project going on within college at the moment, so that I've been a little bit involved with, so it's actually quite exciting to be using all these tools. So excellent. So anyone wants to get in touch with me, so if we've got no more questions, we might sign off for the evening and let Kylie Carly B get out of the car park and get home for a dinner. So thanks so much for joining us, and please get in touch with any questions at any time. More than happy to get those answered. So hope everyone has a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Monique, I'm coming up to do presentations at USQ too, so watch out for those. I will be on campus in Toowoomba very soon.
Oh, great. That's awesome. I'll see if I can get in there.
Okay, so yeah, if you follow the USQ Law Society, I'm sure that it'd be, obviously anyone's welcome. So yeah, basically the same presentation, but if you did want to even meet me for coffee afterwards, link with me on LinkedIn, and then we can keep in touch that way.
Thanks, Jackie. See you.
No worries. Night, everyone.
Bye.
Everyone, watch out for the recording. It'll be up in the next couple of days. Catches.